Hello everyone, Shadow here, and welcome to another Transport Fever 2 update. And before we begin, I just want to take a moment just to say thank you to all of you who recently liked, subscribed, or commented on my channels. It really does mean a lot to me. So for today, I have for you a rather short video. Why? Because today we're covering the Franklin Avenue Shuttle. It goes from Prospect Park all the way over to Franklin Avenue and Fulton Street. For those of you who are not familiar with New York City, that is a really short line. It probably doesn't even go 2 miles. And because of that, it actually would be a contender for the shortest line in the city if it was not for the Times Square shuttle line, which only has 2 stops and is not going to be featured in this Transport Fever 2 Pseudo series. In fact, keen-eyed observers would have noticed that I actually shrank Midtown Manhattan quite a bit. 42nd Street is all but gone in this Transport Fever 2 Pseudo series. And before you guys jump to conclusions, let me first explain. No, it's not due to any kind of animosity towards tourists in Times Square. Granted, having spent 30 years of my life in New York, I will say that it is true we do get annoyed at tourists everywhere just standing in the way, or rather in our way, when we're trying to get from point A to point B. But no, that is not why I removed Times Square. And on that note, I just want to say we really are friendly people. It's just that we have places to be. We're just trying to get from where we're coming from to where we're going in as short a time as possible. No, the reason is the same as always, spacing. It's just too congested there. And given the size that I made Central Park as well as New York Penn Station, it had to be cut. Sorry. But I do plan on including the 7 line. I've already worked it out in Manhattan, and actually, I don't think you guys would mind what I did with it so far. Well, I say so far, but truthfully, at the time of this recording, I actually completed the 7 line in its entirety. It's just that it's going to require a lot of additional work, mainly because it spends most of its time elevated, so the stations then have to be beautified. So that's going to take a lot of time. And because of that, it's going to take me some time before I can showcase the line in its entirety, especially with the limited time that I'm going to have moving forward. But you guys didn't come here to talk about Times Square or the number 7 line. No, you came here to talk about the Franklin Avenue Shuttle. And for that, I'll give you guys a little bit of history. All of this stuff you can find online, mainly through Wikipedia or other sources. The shuttle originally opened in 1878 as an extension of the Brighton line. Regrettably, it is actually subject to one of the worst mass transit disasters to strike New York City. The Malbourne Street wreck occurred in 1918 when one of the trains jumped the track approaching Prospect Park. This was long before the integration of all the lines into a single mass transit authority you know as MTA today. Back then, the service extended all the way down to Coney Island. This service was discontinued in the early 60s, where the line in its more modern format began to take shape. Following a second accident in 1974, where the Malbourne Street wreck had occurred, the service was in terrible shape. This could actually be seen in all lines during this period of time. The 70s and 80s was not kind to the MTA. And during these years, the shuttle actually had 5 stations as opposed to the 4 that it had now. It had an extra station called Dean Street, located at, Dean Street. During these years, it operated 4 cars on a 2-track layout going all the way out to Franklin Avenue. I'm actually just old enough to remember how this all used to look. Remembering how the old Botanic Gardens used to look, the Park Place Station, even Dean Street. I even remember riding on a 4-car train. All of this was before the major renovations which occurred during the 90s. These renovations removed the two-track layout beyond the Botanic Gardens, connected it to the A division lines, and shortened the trains from 4 cars to 2 cars. This also came at the cost of the Dean Street station. They actually tore it down. Residents who use that station now have to use Park Place or walk over to Franklin Avenue if they want to use the shuttle. There's also a local bus service that runs on Franklin Avenue that they can use. So, a bit of a different video for you guys today. Honestly, I think the shuttle deserved that, only because it is usually overlooked. Given the amount of ridership that it actually receives, it's generally overlooked, and that's actually kind of sad. I always found it an enjoyable ride, albeit short one, and it's one that you can probably complete in 20 minutes, give or take. So if you're ever in New York City and you're around Brooklyn Prospect area, give it a ride. I think you will enjoy it. So that's all for today. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed what you see, please give it a like. It really does help my channel. Now, I will leave you guys with what is my first full line showcase, an entire ride between Prospect Park and Franklin Avenue. I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.